Hello students, good afternoon. Welcome to Q&I class. My name is Dr. Meghna Garg and I'm biology faculty at Q&I. Students, I have several years of experience in guiding students for various competitive examinations and also making them ready for their CBSE as well as board preparations. So before we begin the class, please confirm whether am I audible or not. Am I audible? Can any one of you type it in the chat box or unmute yourself and say whether am I audible or not? Is the screen properly visible to you? Any one of you can respond, please? Okay. Okay. Thank you, Shubhranshu. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you so much for responding. So, students, आज की क्लास के लिए जो मैंने टॉपिक हम लोग कल से इस क्लास को वी आर ऑलरेडी कंटिन्यूइंग दिस क्लास फ्रॉम yesterday. So now we will continue this same chapter, which is the fundamental unit of life, the cell. But what exactly are we going to cover in today's class? So students, we would be talking about plasma membrane. Okay. Now coming to the prerequisites of the class, you should now have an understanding that what living organisms are made up of. So now if I ask you this question, what living organisms are made up of, what would be your answer? What living organisms are made up of? What would be your answer for this? Very good, Kevin. So yes, they are made up of cells. Okay. Now, I also told you about cell theory in yesterday's class. So kindly tell me the postulates for cell theory, the points which I had given you for cell theory. Yes. Let's see what are your answers. I can see Rishika, Kevin, and who else are writing the answers. I want answers from everyone. See, don't think in this class that somebody else is writing, that is fine, I shouldn't write. No, you should always take the lead for answering the questions. That's how you will come up, you'll get rid of your hesitation. So you will get over with this with time. Okay. All living organisms are made up of cells, Sanjeev. Very good, Samagna. All cells arise from pre-existing cells. Okay. So see, now all living organisms are made up of cells. This was given by Leiden and Schwann. Okay. But the disadvantage to this was that it did not explain the origin of cells. So just like Samagna said, the statement, the disadvantage was covered by stating the statement that all cells they arise from pre-existing cells. Okay. Very good. Very good, Kevin. You have also written the year. Very good. Now tell me this, who gave this statement that all cells arise from pre-existing cells? Who covered this disadvantage of the cell theory, which was earlier given by Leiden and Schwann? Virtue, very good. I'm so proud of my students. Rodolphe, Virtue, very good. That means all of you are revising. Very good, Shaktivel, very good. Who else is not responding? I'm not seeing answers from Harshi. Harshi, you too need to respond, okay? Okay, very good, everyone. Virtue, very good. Take care. Very good. I'm so happy with everyone. So now we are done with these two prerequisites. Okay, so I now know that my all students, they are thorough with these 2 points. So it's safe to move ahead now. Now let's see what all are we going to cover in today's class. Plasma membrane and cell wall we would be covering in today's class. Cell wall, I don't think so we would be able to cover in this class. But since we club these topics and we teach you people, so I have written it that from plasma membrane and cell wall, approximately 1 to 2 questions comes every year. Yes, it is sure that from plasma membrane and cell wall, question is definitely going to come. Definitely 100% from the cell, from plasma membrane, the question 100% comes. Okay. Now, coming to the outline, what all are we going to study in today's class? So students, we will be talking about the movement and gases of water across the plasma membrane. And also we will be talking about the structure and function of plasma membrane. And then if time permits, we would be reading cell wall. Otherwise, cell wall we would be covering in next class. Now let's move ahead. So now you see, okay, so a cell is made up of different structures. Okay, so you can see this is a cell. Now a cell is made up of different structures. First of all, cell wall. Now cell wall is not a unique feature of these cells. That means by this statement, I mean that particularly when we talk of, okay, so when we talk of, just wait. Okay, so when we, okay, students, please wait. Okay, so now when we talk of cell wall particularly, which is found in plants and plasma membrane, students, please wait for a while. Please wait. Meanwhile, can you please start writing about the name of the scientists and the various scientists who discovered, who made the discoveries regarding the cell? Okay, I'll get back in just a minute. Please start revising these points. Okay, I want everyone to write the name of the scientist, the year and the discovery which the scientist made in the chat box. Everyone, please start writing. Please start writing, everyone. So yes, has everybody written down? Only Rishika. Why Rishika? Why not everyone else? Kevin, Sanjeev, Shubhranshu, Harshi, I had given you one task. Samagna, yes. Leeuwenhoek discovered free living cells in pond water. Yes, very good. Rishika, I had wanted everyone to write down the name of the scientists, the year in which they made the discovery, and what discovery did they made. Okay. Okay, so now you can write it down at a later stage. Now we will move ahead with the class. So now I was telling you that there are several cells which are present in the nature, okay? And not every cell has the same basic features, okay? Now you can see that cell wall is not necessarily present in all the cells. Why I am saying this? Because students, cell wall can be found in prokaryotic cells. So yes, cell wall is present in prokaryotic cells. For example, bacteria. Whereas when we talk of a eukaryotic cell, for all those students who doesn't know about the prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell, prokaryotic cells basically refer to the cells. Examples are bacteria. So bacterial cells, they are called as prokaryotic, whereas eukaryotic cells, they comprise of animals, humans, plants, all of these type of cells. So now in plant students, cell wall is present, but in animals, cell wall is not present. So cell wall is not commonly present. We can say that cell wall is not a definite feature of the cell. That means cell might be present or it might not be present. But in most of the cells, you find these three structures: plasma membrane, cytoplasm, and cell organelles. Okay, and also nucleus. So in most of the cells, you find these structures in a very common manner. Now, let's see one by one. So first of all, we will be moving ahead with the plasma membrane. Now, plasma membrane, it is also called as cell membrane. Plasma membrane, as you can see, it is the outermost covering of the cell. So now see from here, this is the cell membrane. Cell membrane is basically acting as a boundary of the cell. And if you see the portion, now it is getting highlighted. So what is cell membrane doing, students? It is basically separating the contents of the cell from the external environment and the internal cytoplasm which is present in these cells. So now let me explain you this particular part, that cell membrane is basically acting as a boundary of the cell, and what it is doing, it is separating the contents from the outside to the inside of the cell. This inner part of the cell, this yellow part, this is called as cytoplasm. And whenever we talk of cells in the human body, outside these cells, you have matrix present. This is called as extracellular fluid. Extracellular fluid, which is present surrounding these cells. So now what is happening, that this plasma membrane or this cell membrane is basically acting as a barrier. Now, plasma membrane is flexible. That means it allows the movement of the cell. And secondly, what it is made up of? It is made up of lipids and proteins. So from here comes your 1 mark question, most importantly, that plasma membrane is made up of lipids and proteins. Now, what are lipids and what are proteins? So let me tell you this, that basically in a cell, you have several molecules present. Some of the molecules are involved in making the structure of the cell, whereas some of the molecules are involved in functioning of the cell. So lipids and proteins, they are basically the molecules which are involved in making up the structural part of the cell. They might also be involved in functioning of the cell, but particularly lipids and proteins, they are making up the structure of plasma membrane. Now, let's see the structure of plasma membrane. Students, is it clear till now? Have you understood? Is it clear till now? Have you understood? Everyone, Shubhranshu, Shaktivel, everyone has to respond. Samakna, is it clear? If you want me to repeat something, I can repeat. Okay, now let's see the structure of plasma membrane. Now, when you see the structure of plasma membrane, all of you can see these structures which I am highlighting. So you can see the structures like this. Okay, all of you can see the structures like this. Everyone can see or not? The structures which I am highlighting. Yes, so these molecules are called as lipids molecule. Lipid. Okay, so now you can see from here that basically there is one lipid layer and there is another lipid layer present like this. There are two lipid layers present like this. So see from here, one lipid layer is this. So I am just highlighting it. This is one lipid layer. And the second lipid layer is this. This is the second lipid layer. So in the one of the lipid layer, the lipid molecules are arranged like this. Okay. And in the second lipid layer, the molecules are arranged like this. Okay. Now, in between the lipid layer, so lipid layer, they are basically just like two pieces of bread which are making a sandwich. Okay. So that's why, because of the two layers of lipid, you have two layers of lipid present. That's why plasma membrane is also called as lipid bilayer. That is why it is also called as lipid bilayer. Okay. Now, in between the plasma membrane's lipids, you have certain molecules embedded in it. Those molecules are called as proteins. So now I am highlighting proteins with a different color. So now you have certain proteins present. Now, some of the proteins I am drawing like this, and one protein I am just drawing like this. Okay, now I'm again coming back to the structure of plasma membrane, lipids. So now again, lipids are present like this. Now see from here, what I am trying to tell you is these molecules which are embedded in the plasma membrane, these are proteins. Now proteins are of two types. The first type of proteins are called as integral membrane proteins. Integral, that means they are an integral part of the plasma membrane. That means they are embedded in the plasma membrane layer. So this protein which you can see from here, it is completely embedded in the membrane. See, it is completely embedded in the membrane. It is crossing both the lipid layers. However, if you see this type of protein, this this protein. This is just present on one of the layers of the lipid above it, just like you have placed something on one of the bread of the sandwich. If you have placed some external toppings on it, that's it. So the other type of proteins present are called as peripheral proteins. Okay, so integral membrane proteins, they are present in the plasma membrane, or you can say they are embedded in it. Whereas peripheral proteins, they are just attached on the surface. Got it, everyone? Is it clear? The structure of plasma membrane? Okay. See, this you can see from here. So let me just tell you this. I've got one doubt. This is plasma membrane structure. Okay. So what you are doing, you are basically taking a section from here and you are zooming in. Okay. So this was plasma membrane's structure. What was that? That was plasma membrane's structure. Got it, Kevin? Okay, now this is plasma membrane. Now, so we have understood that basically it consists of two layers and proteins are embedded in it. And the proteins, they may be of two types. So now you can see from here these proteins. Now, what will you call these proteins? You will call these proteins as peripheral or you will call these proteins as integral. Now, I am asking all of you, what will you call these proteins? Are they peripheral or are they integral? Integral, very good. Everyone. Anyone else of the opinion of peripheral? I want answers from everyone. Okay, no student should be there who doesn't respond in the class. You want me to recall the names who are not answering? Harshi, Samagna, Rishika, Shaktivel, everyone. I want answers. Rest all of you are going for peripheral. If you doesn't answer the correct answer, I'll think that you are saying peripheral. Yes. What are these? These are integral or these are peripheral? Integral. Okay. Okay. So everyone is of the opinion of integral. Now show these. Now you can see this. What are these proteins? The ones which are present on the surface. What are these proteins? Yeah, the small ones here. The pink one. The small one. What are these? Peripheral, yes. So they are peripheral. They are just like you have taken the two pieces of a bread. Okay. Now on the surface of the top bread, you have placed something just like that. So these are peripheral proteins. Okay. Got it, everyone? Now what happens, students? So now we have understood the structure of the plasma membrane. Now what is happening is basically the role of plasma membrane is to allow the entry of molecules from outside to inside of the cell and from inside to outside of the cell. Okay. Now to ensure this, how will the molecules get transferred across the plasma membrane? So see, when we talk of gases, okay, when we talk of gases, the gases can freely cross the plasma membrane like this. Okay, but whenever we talk of any lipid molecules, sorry, not lipid, whenever we talk of polar molecules, whenever we talk of polar molecules which have certain charge or polarity present on them, then these polar molecules have to get transferred through these proteins. Okay, so gases, they can pass freely through the lipid bilayer, but for transport of the polar molecules, proteins are responsible. So proteins, they act as transport channels. What are they acting as? The proteins are acting as transport channels. Got it? Clear, everyone? Till now, any doubts so far? Yes, Kevin, please ask. Any doubts, anyone? Please feel free to ask your doubts. I would be happy. Okay, so no, only the integral membrane proteins will act as transport channels. Very good. Why? Because peripheral proteins are present only on the top layer. So what will they do? Even if they transfer some molecules from that layer, the molecule will get transferred, but it will not be able to cross the middle portion between the two layers and also the second layer. It won't be able to cross. So peripheral proteins won't act. Only the proteins which are spanning. So you can see these are the proteins which are spanning both the membranes. So here the molecule can easily cross from outer to inside or from inside to outside of the cell. Got it? Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else with the doubt? I'm very happy. I love it when you people ask doubts. That shows that you people are interactive, you people are learning. Okay, anyone else? Okay, so now students, solve this question. Okay, I can see your answers. Everyone is saying option number A, proteins. Okay, everyone is saying option number A, proteins. Okay, Harshi, very good, very good. Okay, so yes, well done, everyone. The correct answer to this is proteins. Next question. Okay. Okay. Everyone is saying option number B, proteins and lipids. So yes, well done. The correct answer is proteins and lipids. Now, students, are you people understanding what I am teaching you people? Are you understanding, everyone? Is it okay? Do you want me to repeat something? Anything? Okay. Shubhranshu, okay, everyone is okay with it. Okay. So yes, thank you for responding. Now let's move ahead. Now, very, very important concept of the plasma membrane. See, now students, we are saying that this is a cell. Okay, everyone please understand, this is a cell. This outer membrane of the cell is called as plasma membrane. This we are calling as plasma membrane. Okay. Now this plasma membrane is basically allowing the movement, or basically it is acting as a barrier between the outer fluid which is present outside the cell and between the inner content of the cell. Now whenever a molecule has to pass through the plasma membrane, who decides basically that which components or which molecules can cross the plasma membrane or not? How is it getting decided? See, if plasma membrane allow each and every molecule to pass through it, would it be okay for the cell? Would it be okay for the cell? If the plasma membrane allows freely the movement of all molecules across it, would it be okay for the cell? Would it be good for the cell? Yes or no? No. So just like you have a security guard sitting outside your building or your home, in the similar manner, the plasma membrane also acts as a very, very important term. The plasma membrane acts as a selectively permeable membrane. Very important, students, please highlight this. The plasma membrane acts as a selectively permeable membrane. That means the plasma membrane allows only entry and exit of some materials in and out of the cell. That means the plasma membrane allows only some materials inside the cell and outside the cell. Only some materials. It does not allow all the materials to freely pass through it. Okay, so the plasma membrane is basically acting as a guard. Got it, everyone? Clear? Clear? Is it clear, students? So why do we call plasma membrane as selectively permeable membrane? Type your answers in the chat box. Why plasma membrane is called as the selectively permeable membrane? Kevin, what's your doubt?
Be semi-permeable.
Semi-permeable. Rishika, what have you answered? You have answered or you have asked me something?
Ma'am, I have
Please.
asked you.
Yes, please. Please repeat your question.
Ma'am, why can't we call it as semi-permeable membrane?
Okay, semi-permeable and selectively permeable, you can use both the terms. That is absolutely okay. Semi-permeable or selectively permeable. You can use both the terms. Okay. Okay, Rishika? Yes. So I can see the answers. It allows only a few things to enter and exit. Okay. Okay. Selected material. Yes. Very good, everyone. Now, Kevin, you had one doubt. You had written something. I missed it. Please repeat your question. How does the cell identify the membrane? Why membrane? I'm not getting your question. You need to rephrase it. How does the cell identify the membrane or identify the molecules which needs to be transported across it? Materials. Yes. Okay. See, okay, so I'm getting a lot of doubts. Very good. First of all, Kevin, let me respond to your question. How does the cell identify the materials? See, this identification is based on several aspects. First of all, whether the molecule is polar or not, whether the molecule is hydrophobic or hydrophilic. Okay, first of all, based on this, it will decide from which pathway the material will get transferred inside the cell. If it is polar molecule, then the material will get transferred through the transport channels or proteins. Next, the cell's utility, whether the cell has demanded for that particle or not. So the query or the particularly need is being raised by the cell itself, that I need these materials. So there are a lot of biochemical reactions which are going on in a cell. Third, concentration of the molecules. So concentration, the material always get transferred from the concentration, high concentration to low concentration. So based on different factors, the materials can be identified that whether they need to be transported or not. Got it? Okay, Kevin? Now, Samagna, the foreign particles. Okay. So see, foreign particles are usually not transported inside the plasma membrane. But if by chance plasma membrane allows the entry of foreign particles like certain bacteria, viruses, they can enter inside the cell. Once they enter, then they will be digested by the lysosomes. Okay. So lysosomes. Now, you will learn in higher classes what all bacteria and viruses can get entry inside. So viruses and bacteria, the foreign particles which you are referring to, they will attach themselves on the plasma membrane using certain receptors. So if those receptors are present on the plasma membrane, then only virus or bacteria can enter inside the cell. Otherwise, it will not be able to enter inside. Got it, Samagna? Clear? Okay. Rishika, is it okay? Has everyone understood? Okay. Now, let's move ahead. Now, solve this question. Okay, I can see answers. Everyone is saying option number B. Yes, very good. Shaktivel, you need to rewrite your answer. You have said option number fifth or V. What is that? I cannot see any option V or fifth. Okay, B. So yes, the correct answer is option number B, selectively permeable membrane. Now, how does the movement of molecules takes place? So first of all, we are going to study the movement of gases across the plasma membrane. So see students, the movement of gases across the plasma membrane takes place through a method which is called as diffusion. Diffusion. Okay. Now diffusion, it is basically the movement of gases across the plasma membrane. Now, diffusion does not require energy. That means energy is not required for the gases to cross across the plasma membrane. So, suppose this is the cell and certain gas has to enter inside the cell, suppose for example oxygen, then it does not need any energy. By energy I means ATP. It does not need any energy to enter inside the cell. Okay, now but what decides the rule that whether oxygen will get transported in or not? So the diffusion works on one rule. The rule for diffusion is that the movement of gases will always takes place from the region of high concentration to the region of low concentration. Okay, so diffusion always takes place across this rule, through this rule, that the movement of gases takes place, or the movement of any particle diffusing always takes place from the region of high concentration to low concentration. Okay, now students, when we would be in next class discussing about the movement of water, I would also be covering the difference between the two, but for now just understand this. Okay, now let's see this cell. Okay, now see this cell. You have oxygen and carbon dioxide present in various concentration inside and outside the cell. Now let me ask you this one very common sense question. Think of it. You are taking in oxygen. Okay. Now you are taking in oxygen. That oxygen is going into your lungs. From the lungs, the oxygen now goes into your blood, and now the blood delivers this oxygen to the cells. Okay, so now tell me, the concentration of oxygen would be more outside the cell or inside the cell? By outside the cell, I am saying that blood is present. Okay, blood is flowing. For example, blood is flowing like this in the blood vessel. So the concentration of oxygen would be more inside the cell or outside the cell? Considering that oxygen rich blood is coming from the lungs and the purpose is to transfer oxygen to the cells. Think of this. Okay. Outside? Everyone, what's your answer? I want answers from everyone quickly. We have to cover this. My question is, yes, please, Sanjeev, I am repeating myself. I am saying that you are taking oxygen. This oxygen is going into your lungs. From lungs, this oxygen is picked up by the blood. And then the purpose of this blood is, now this oxygenated blood which has lot amount of oxygen, it will go and it will deliver the oxygen to the cells. So now I am saying you that the concentration of oxygen would be more where? This is the cell, this is the blood vessel in which the blood is flowing. Now this blood which is flowing in this blood vessel has a lot of oxygen in it, since it is coming from the lungs. So my question is, the concentration of oxygen would be more here or it would be more inside the cell? Where? Outside the cell. Yes. Sanjeev, have you got it? What I was trying to ask you people? In blood vessels, yes. Outside the cell, in blood vessels. Very good, Rishika. Yes. Okay, so it is present more outside the cell. Whereas once these cells, they use oxygen, they would then generate a lot of chemical reactions would be going inside the cell, and a lot of waste material would be present inside the cell. One such waste product is carbon dioxide. Okay, so now this carbon dioxide's concentration would definitely be more inside the cell rather than outside the cell. Okay. So now if you see from here, carbon dioxide is diffusing out of the cell. Okay, so from how is the transport of carbon dioxide taking place? The carbon dioxide, since it was more inside the cell, so where it would go? The carbon dioxide will move from outside to inside or from inside to outside of the cell. Where? The concentration of carbon dioxide is more inside the cell. Okay. See, carbon dioxide is not already present in the cell. There are a series of reactions. So you will be reading in higher classes. Respiratory reactions hote hain. The process is called as respiration. So in during that process, particularly carbon dioxide will be generated. Okay. So carbon dioxide is generated during the reactions which are taking place inside the cell. So carbon dioxide is in a lot amount present inside the cell. So where will the carbon dioxide move? From inside to outside or from outside to inside? Everyone, inside to outside. Yes. So the carbon dioxide is moving inside from inside to outside of the cell, whereas the oxygen would be moving from outside to inside of the cell. So that's how the diffusion of gases takes place across the plasma membrane. Got it, everyone? Now solve this question. Always just remember one rule for diffusion, that the diffusion will always takes place from the region of high concentration to low concentration. Okay, everyone is saying option number C. Okay, who hasn't responded yet? Kevin, Sanjeev, Rishika, Hershey, Shubhranshu, Samagna, Shubhranshu. Okay, so yes, well done. The correct answer is option number C. Now, movement of water, students, we are going to cover this in next class. Now let's solve some questions on the platform. Okay, so now I'll open the platform for all of you. Just wait. Okay, so once you log into the Q&A platform, students, you can go to the assessment section. Then you can go to the practice session tab, custom. So since we are already solving science, we are reading science, we'll go to the chapter, the fundamental unit of life, few topics from here. Okay, understand plasma membrane in detail. So till now, we have not covered the entire plasma membrane, but you can practice questions on the platform like this. I'll just. Okay, now so osmosis we have not studied till now, but if you have any knowledge from the lectures which you must have got in your school, you can answer this question. Otherwise, do not worry. I'll teach you this while I'll teach you osmosis. Anything? Any answer, students, which you think might be the answer for this? Yes, students, what would be the answer? Okay. Okay, so now I am marking the answer. Let's say, for example, you are saying option number C. Okay. Now go to the next question. Okay. Solve this. Okay. So you are saying selectively permeable. So this we have already studied. Okay. Just wait. Selectively permeable. Now I'm submitting the test. So you can see both of your questions were correct. Well done, students. I'm so proud of you all. Okay. So now you can go to the review questions and you can see the correct answer, solution. And also you can go to the view details section and you can see which topics knowledge, which concepts knowledge is required to solve this question. And also you can see which skill is required in solving this question. Okay. So this is all about this. Now let's come back to the class. So for now, I am skipping movement of water, and now let's conclude what all have we studied in the class. So now let me ask you this. The plasma membrane is made up of, everyone has to answer. I would be happy if you could unmute yourself and then answer. Otherwise, type it in the chat box. The plasma membrane is made up of proteins and lipids. Very good. Proteins and lipids. Very good, everyone. Proteins and lipids. Okay. Now, the proteins, the two types of proteins are the two types
Integral
of.
and peripheral.
Very good, Rishika. Very good. Everyone else? Integral and peripheral. Yes, very good. Integral and peripheral. Very good, everyone. Yes. So, how many lipid layers are present in plasma membrane? Very good, Sanjeev, Rishika. Very good. Two layers. That's why it is also called as lipid bilayer. The movement of gases across, or the movement of gases across the membrane is called as, or gases will get transferred across the plasma membrane through the process called as diffusion. Very good. What's the rule for diffusion? The diffusion will always takes place from the region of Shubhranshu. Yes, very good. Harshi, very good, very good. From the region of high concentration to the region of low concentration. Very good, students. I'm so proud of you. Okay, one more thing. The plasma membrane is a freely permeable membrane, or it is a selectively permeable membrane. Very good. Selectively permeable. Very good. Selectively permeable. Very good, everyone. So that is selectively permeable membrane. Very good, everyone. Okay. Now, so this is all for today's class. Okay. Acha, one more thing. Oxygen will get transferred from inside to outside of cell, or from outside to inside of cell. Just last question. Oxygen will get transferred from inside to outside of cell, or from outside to inside. From outside to inside. Very good. And similarly, carbon dioxide will get transferred from inside to outside of this cell. Now in next class, what all are we going to study? So students, please do not miss my next class, because we are going to cover osmosis, from where sure short question comes. So I just told you that from plasma membrane and cell wall, one question is definitely asked from this chapter. So plasma membranes, particularly osmosis, the movement of water across the plasma membrane. So that is very, very important concept. So please do not miss that class. Okay. So in next class, we are going to cover that. And if time permits, we will also be studying about cell wall. So with this, students, I hope you have enjoyed the class. So we am skipping this for now. Okay. So you can see this is how all we are going to talk of. Okay. Now, have you understood, students? Yes, everyone. Students, have you enjoyed the class? Have you enjoyed the class, everyone? Okay. So with this, students, I'll take your leave now. If you have any doubts, you can ask me and I'll be happy to answer them all. Till then, keep studying, keep revising, stay focused and stay hydrated. Bye-bye and take care, and keep solving questions on the platform. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye, and I'll see you in next class. Thank you.